Shall we begin?
Let's begin now.
Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with a birthday card that I've made for my daughter-in-law. Now, today we are not using the Cricut or the Gypsy. What I will be using is what I call Erica, which is my silhouette cameo, and this is the card that we will be making. So it looks like this on the front, and then it opens like so. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so before we go ahead and put our card together, I did want to show where I got the free SVG file to cut with Erica. And I'm on the web page, and this is the web address up here, right here at the top. What I'll do is I'll put this also in the description bar. And the person that created these Gatefold cards, her name is Monica, and she's put these out here as free SVG files, but did ask for a donation just to help out and show, encourage her to keep on making the cards. So if you do decide to take any of these cards off of her blog, please do donate. I've already gone ahead and done that because I did use this one, and I've actually picked a couple more. So the one that I've chosen to use is the Gatefold 3 card, and I'm going to double click so you can see this is what the card looks like. So now what we're going to do is I've gone ahead already and exported it into, or imported it into my Silhouette software. I'm not going to go through how to import an SVG file because I've done that on a previous video, but here is my card, and I imported it at the size that she had it for the SVG file. I think if I make them again, I will import them to a different size. So this one ended up being the height 5.38 and the width 10.235. So if you're gonna go ahead and cut this with your Silhouette, go ahead and set it up and cut it, and then we're going to go ahead and put it together. Okay everybody, so now that we've gone ahead and cut out the card with the Silhouette, we can now go ahead and put our card together. So now this is what my card looks like once I've cut it out using Erica. And I'm going to just zoom in just a little bit more here. The other thing that I've decided to do is I've decided to take some of this ribbon that I have here, and it's double-sided, and run that through the little loops here in the front. So I've already done one side. So basically all I've done is open up my card, and I've taken my ribbon, and I'm just going to go through each one of those little loops. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll go ahead and proceed with the rest of our card. So basically you're just going to go in and out these little squares. And what I should have done is taken this and cut it on an angle so it would be easier to get through, but it shouldn't take that long to go through each one of the squares. So I'm going to bring that up just so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going through each one of those little holes right there. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back and we'll continue making the rest of the card. Okay everybody, so I've gone through my last hole here, and what I recommend is that you do cut this on an angle. It's a lot easier to get through. So now I want to pull some of this back because I've got just a little bit too much in there. So I'm going to pull it back like so, and then what I'm just going to do is take my ribbon and fold it over to this side and glue it down. So hopefully my glue gun has heated up. And it's not quite hot yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and snip my other side here because we're going to fold that piece over as well. And we're just going to take it and fold it and glue it down. So while my glue gun is heating up, we can go ahead and add the rest of our embellishments. Or at least some of our embellishments. Mostly everything we're going to need the glue gun for, except I'll go ahead and talk about my front piece of the card. So this we're going to be using the two-way zig pen. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and taken my Cheery Lynn Dies and cut out 2 of these flourishes that look like this. And I guess you're wondering, the birthday card that I'm making for my daughter-in-law, I've made it this color because purple happens to be her favorite color as well. When I was growing up, I've always liked the color purple. And lots of my friends when I was a kid would say, "Oh, why do you like purple? That's such an ugly color." But I'm finding there's more and more people out there that really do like the color purple. So now I don't feel alone out there because I like that color. So now my flourishes are from the Cheery Lynn die that I picked up on my last haul. And this is the mini fanciful flourish. And this one is B117S. And I'll also put a link to where you can purchase the Cheery Lynn Dies down in the description bar below here. And what I like about these dies is it actually gets the detail down to the vein in the leaves. And I'm going to bring this up to the camera so you can see there are the veins in the leaves like so. So I really, really like that. So I'm going to put one of those on this side of my card. And then I'm going to put the other one on the other side over here. And I think we're going to have it facing actually I want to switch these up because I snipped a little bit of this one off so I could get this in here the way I wanted it. So I'm going to place that one right there. So let's take our two-way zig pen because this is really, really fine and delicate. I'm going to get some glue on here. Now you could run this through the Xyron if you want, if you have one. I'm just going to dot it with the zig pen. And get some glue everywhere. And then I'll add it to the card. So that should be enough. I've kind of got it on each one of the veins and the stems. And then I'm going to pick this up. Hopefully it hasn't stuck to my paper. And then I'm going to add it to my card. So now I'm going to use the tweezers for this because I want to get it placed in the right spot. So I'm going to have it placed and sit right there. I'm just going to bring it up just a little bit. And we need to bring it down. And because the glue, I can still pick it up. I can maneuver it and place it exactly where I want it. So that's where I want it to lay. And then I'm just going to press down on that. Like so. So now let's go ahead and we'll add the next one. And we're going to add this one so that it faces like this. So let's get our glue on there. I'm going to come over here so I don't get so much glue. Get some of that glue up so when I bring my card over there it doesn't stick. So let's add our glue once again all the way around, and try to be very careful when you do this because this is very thin and delicate. And the cardstock that I'm using is some Coordinations cardstock for the card itself. Now for the flourishes, the cardstock is some of the Joann Fabric texture cardstock. And this was just some scraps that I had left over from a previous card. So now let's bring our card back, and then we can add this flourish. I'm going to come over as far as I can over to this side and press my edge down. I'll try to line this up to get them on the same level. And then I'm going to press down. And we need to move our flourish over just a little bit over here, because we want to leave this opening right here because I'm going to be adding flowers in the center. So now I'm going to press down, and I need to add some more glue because I didn't get enough glue on this side. So I will be adding just a little bit more, and hopefully my pen still has some glue in it and hasn't dried out. I've been trying to be very, very careful in putting the cap back on. And you may notice sometimes when I'm gluing something down that I will put my glue on and it put the cap right back on, even though I know I'm going to be using it again once I lay my first item down. And the reason why I do that is because I have a tendency to forget to put the cap back on when I'm actually done crafting, and then it dries out. So just as a habit, I now, every time I use it, even though I may know that I'm going to use it again within a few seconds, I still put the cap right back on. It just works better for me like that. So now I have my front flourishes on, and let's see if my glue gun has heated up, which it has. So now let's go ahead and take that ribbon, and we'll just pull back and even this out. And all we're going to do is just glue this down. Now on this side, I want to make sure that I glue enough that I don't leave that opening or a hole space there. So I'm just going to run my glue across the top of the ribbon, and then I'm going to fold it over and press down. And then I'll do the same thing for the other side. Get some glue on the ribbon. And press down. So now we have our ribbon added on the front of our card. So now let's move on and add the next thing that we want to add to the card, and that is going to be my flowers that I've made. And these little flowers that I've made are from the My Favorite Things rolled flower die, and this is some scrap paper that I had left over for making the envelope for the card. And I'm going to place one of these on each side, but what I want to do is make sure that I give it enough room so that the card can be opened in the center. So I'm going to place them right here, and then she'll still be able to open the card. So let me get my glue on my flower, or on the bottom of my flower, and then I'm just going to place it close to the edge of the opening of the card. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side, and I kind of want to line them up Make sure they're even. That looks about right. And I'm not going to mark anything because you know how I hate to measure. I'm just going to eyeball it. And I'm going to take this one and I'm going to press it down and just come over just a little bit so I have enough room to open my card. And then I can fold that up there so that it will open. And there we have it. Now be careful when you are putting your glue on the back of your flower and you are putting your flower on the front, because I did get some glue in the opening spaces here. I didn't do it on this side because I came a little closer. But it still is able to close and the glue has dried so it didn't stick to the card. So there we have the front of the card. Now, as far as for the inside of the card, what I've done is I've taken a piece of cardstock, and this cardstock measures 3 5/16 by 4 3/4, and it's just some white Georgia Pacific cardstock. And before I forget, I noticed that when I try to cut on Erica, which is my silhouette, using the Georgia Pacific cardstock that's by Walmart, I sometimes don't get a good cut with that cardstock. I don't know what it is. I don't get a good cut when I use the Cricut either, so it must be something within the cardstock. So I'll probably be just using that cardstock just for making the cards themselves. So now what I've done with this is I've used my stamping gear, the one that I had such a hard time getting out of the package. And I do want to thank, I can't think of her name right now, but she did do a video response to me regarding how she got her stamping gear out of the kit. She said she used an X-Acto knife. I did try starting out with the X-Acto knife, and that's where I almost cut myself. That's why I switched over to the scissors. So she said she was able to get hers out nice and neatly and still keep the packaging. And then also another one of my subscribers, Valerie, said that she also used the X-Acto knife to get hers out. I commend you ladies for doing it that way, but once I poked myself previously with the X-Acto knife, I said, nope, that's okay. It's not worth all that. I'm just going to go ahead and rip the box with the scissors. And that's what I did. So I did use the larger stamping gear, or the circle stamping gear, and I stamped every other one and to get this stamp. And the ink that I use to stamp that is the Stampin' Up! Love Lavender Lace. And then for my happy birthday, that is my favorite stamp set that I use, that's from the Close to My Heart stamp set, and it is called Celebration. And this actually came when I purchased the, here's the happy birthday, when I purchased the Art Philosophy cartridge. That stamp set came with it. So I've stamped the happy birthday using the Seedless Preserves Distress ink. So now the last thing that I did was I did ink my edges using the Seedless Preserve, and then I took my We Are Memory corner chomper and I used the scallop side to punch out my 4 corners. So I'm going to add that and put that here in the center. So let's get out our ATG gun and get some tape on here. So I'll make sure I get some on the edges, and then I'll just make my X. And then I'm going to just put that right here in the center and press down. So now the next thing I want to add on here is, and this will be the final thing before I add, you know what, I gotta add the bling, and my daughter-in-law just loves bling, just like me. So what I've done is I've taken some of the Recollections flowers, and I've taken some of the Yasutoma watercolor paints and painted them like so. And I'm going to put one up here like so. So I'm going to add these and add my bling, and then I'll be back with the finished card. Okay, everybody, so I am back, and I've got all my bling added onto the card. So this is the finished card, and then I've gone ahead and glued the Recollection flowers down. The other thing that I've done is I've gone ahead and made an envelope to put the card in, and I cut the happy birthday using the silhouette. And then as a added gift or an added item, I went ahead and made this little box, and this I've also cut using my silhouette. And inside the box, and I'm going to just untie this real quick. I'm probably going to tie it in the front with as a bow, but I'll do that off camera. So I've taken this piece of the box and run it through my Big Shot using my textile Cutterbug folder. And I've used some Coordinations cardstock, and it opens like this. And inside I've made a pair of the crocheted earrings that I learned how to make watching One Virtuous Woman on YouTube. So that's it, everybody. This is my birthday gift and card for my daughter-in-law for her birthday. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.